Alright, welcome to my basement. In this video we're going to be showing you how to dye leather, how to dye plastic, how to dye vinyl, and how to dye metal, all with the same dye.
Oh, I got a lot of work to do. Our motor arm was really soon. I wonder if Zach from Tukes and Tires can give me a hand. Zach, I'm on my way. Motor arm is really soon.
When is it?
Like soon. We need to get this thing together.
Let's get on it.
This is the colors that we went with. This thing has been super good to us and has done more than it ever intended to do. We probably put more miles on this thing in the last year than in the previous 20, 30 put together. Okay, so it's in there. And then the Bronco will be back from paint in a week or two. Exciting day. This is better than Christmas because it's unwrapping a dream that I've had for a couple years. A bullnose Bronco with a 5.0 Coyote in.
So since nobody makes these panels for the Bronco anymore, figured the best thing that we could do at this point is just paint them or dye them.
I was like, oh yeah, I can give you a hand. Give me all the tough jobs.
Figured I'd show you guys how to recolor an interior since our Bronco's about 9 different colors. And the main reason for that is the sun happened and completely destroyed all the door cards, and the dash was completely disintegrated when we bought it. So the first thing we did actually was get this little kit from Coverlay. How that works is you just pick a color scheme from their website that you think is close, and you were wrong. It's not really that close at all. These Coverlay kits, they only come in a handful of colors. They're not any manufacturer-based color. You get the same color if you have a Chevy or a Ford or a Dodge or whatever you have. I even emailed Coverlay to find out what that paint code is, and they wouldn't even tell me. They just said it was brown. This is the original color of the Bronco. It's faded away in most of the truck. As you can see, it's not an exact match, especially there. So the next thing we did was actually get the seats from TMI to send us a bunch of swatches, and we landed on these two. Tried to match the best that we could to what we already had with the Coverlay kit. And for our secondary color, we actually went with what was already on the wood grain. So that's what the seats are. They're a two-tone between these two colors. So since nobody makes these panels for the Bronco anymore, figured the best thing that we could do at this point is just paint them or dye them. So I figured the best thing for me to do is just walk into Napa and try to match it with the armrest from the Coverlay kit. The closest I could find lined up with this paint color here. Now, I did try this. I went to Tuesdays and grabbed a bunch of panels from an old Ranger, and it's just different enough that kind of thinking that's not gonna work so well. Ironically, our seats match better to this. If you hold that up in the sunlight, you can kind of see they're pretty well dead on. I do like how it covers really well, but it's not very durable. So there's this website called Seat Doctors, and they basically make dye for a whole bunch of different manufacturers. I ended up buying 32 ounces of this dye. This is a leather dye. You can basically use that on anything. They're both called medium prairie tan, and they're both a Ford color. I tested both on one piece here. You can see kind of a line here. This is the spray paint, this is the dye. And the biggest difference, honestly, is just the finish. It's a little shinier with the dye. They match pretty well dead on. I think that one seemed a little more green. That one's a little warmer. but we're pretty happy with how that flops in the sun. So something that we really like about the seats being two-tone, all of this accent color matches the wood grain. Maybe I could match that color as well. So I ended up going to leathertouchupdye.com, which is actually a brick and mortar store as well in Hamilton. They can match any color that you have and whip up a dye for you. It is $200 to do that just for 4-ounce. Seat Doctors was able to do this much for $60 plus shipping. That's the one nice thing about going with OEM colors versus trying to just walk in and try to match whatever you have. It is way more accurate, but you do pay for that. The nice thing though is 4 ounces like this is going to cover an entire Lazy Boy chair. You can count on like 2 or 3 coats to do that. We have a full interior. I figured I was going to make a lot of mistakes, so might as well. These are my old Ranger parts, and that's the original color. And I was doing some durability testing. I actually used a gray primer on this, and I couldn't get through that gray primer. So these need to be primered first, and then use a adhesive promoter to the primer to actually get that color to stick. And that's why I went with Rust-Oleum. This is nutmeg color. It's like a satin finish, but I felt like it would be close enough that if you do scratch through it, you're gonna see brown anyway. Ironically, this is the nutmeg color here, and it's a pretty good match for the original brown. The only thing is, this is kind of an all-purpose paint. This is formulated for metal and plastic and wood. These are more for your fabrics, so we do want to use that, but we're going to start with that to adhere to the plastic. So that's where I'm at. Happy accidents. Okay, this is quite a while later. I've done a lot of testing, and yeah, I've done a lot of testing, and basically some of the stuff I'm really impressed, some of the stuff I'm really not. The SEM spray paint doesn't seem to matter. I put 2 coats on, but this is not prepped. So I tried prepping it. This has primer, adhesion promoter, 2 coats of SEM, and then 3 coats of clear spray, and you can still get through all of it. I was actually most impressed with the dye. The high wear clear coat stuff is probably the best thing you can get if you're trying to avoid any scratches. This is just straight adhesion promoter, no primer. So it does act as a primer. It's called a primer actually, and it works just as well as if you have a primer on it underneath. But I was mainly concerned about just having that color showing through at all costs. So I can't get through that. Like, I really can't. And you can see it's marking it up, but it's really not penetrating the paint at all. Yeah, really impressed with that. There's just nothing I can do. The knife could do it. But yeah, there's nothing I can do to scratch that. It feels just like the original plastic. But the first thing I gotta do with all of this is clean it. And to do that, just got some dish soap and a heavier degreaser if I needed it. So here we go. Well, pull this out. I think those have been in there for a while. That's gross. Yeah, one more to do too. I wonder what's in there. Oh, that one's empty. Only one side was a smoker. Alright, this piece of trim is prepped to paint. The only thing left I noticed is need a little bit of repair here, so we're just going to weld this plastic back together with a gun, and good to go. Alright, this isn't really wanting to weld very well, so I'm going to reinforce it with a little bit of HDPE plastic. You can find this on any bucket or whatever. That's where I got it from, was just taking apart a bucket. It'll also add quite a bit of strength to it, so it won't break apart again in the same place. Tried to save from having to fix it on both sides, but this stuff's extremely brittle and it snapped back apart immediately, so I think I'm going to weld it down on both sides and sand it back out. Got some JB plastic weld. Cut off a little piece of it, and you want to mix that until it's all one color. Alright, this stuff sets in about 20 to 25 minutes, and I'm just going to try to smooth this out. Alright, that JB-Weld is dry. Just gonna sand it down. Started with 60, then 1000 grit, and I'm pretty happy with that. We'll get some alcohol on that, and then I'll show you how to get some of that texture back. Alright, this is a Rust-Oleum product. It's the hammered line. It's a paint primer again. Any surface, any angle. This has like a built-in texture. I actually did my whole patio furniture with this stuff, and I just happen to have this left over. You can kind of see that has that texture right on the bottle, so you can kind of see what it does. Anyway, I think this is going to match that pretty well. So then we'll primer over top of that and match the rest of the colors. Alright, we're ready to paint. That means we're going to start with our primer, and we're going to do one coat of that just to get a consistent color all the way across, and then we're going to use an adhesive promoter. That's going to allow our dye, our leather dye, to stick to anything really. We'll need 2 coats of the dye for a nice solid color, and then we're going to use 3 coats of leather sealer, and that's just going to make everything extremely scratch proof and a really durable finish. Here's the end result. It's a little bit tricky because this is more matted and that's kind of a high gloss underneath. I did spray over with the same color primer, but I mean, it's pretty decent. I did go through with a cloth when it was really tacky and just imprint a little more defined ridges, so to kind of more match the original there. That's alright, I'm happy with it. Maybe you guys know a better way to do it. Again, it's really glossy, so it's really highlighting a lot of that. I think once it's painted to match, you won't notice it nearly as much. Okay, now we're ready for actual dye. And first I'm going to spray it with this, with the adhesion promoter, just to get that dye to stick on really good. Alright, I got the adhesion promoter on. This stuff sets in about 15 minutes. You really got to get the top coat on before 30 minutes is up, but you got to wait a good 15 minutes for it to set. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I do have a roller for the dye, so I'm gonna try to hustle. Alright, I did it. Now we got one more coat, ready for the leather sealer after that. Keep going. Well, that's 2 coats on there, and I'm actually really happy with that. It's covered really nice, and I think it looks really good. So we're gonna do the top coat, the clear leather sealer. So I've got 2 options here. This one here is a spray. So if you have like a sponge or whatever, you spray it right under that. You don't spray it directly on to the dash or whatever. It'll leave spots and stuff. Just keep that in mind. You want to put that on a cloth, and at this point you're doing gentle swirls, really light coats. This stuff is more like it's still thin, but it goes on like it's more gooey anyway, and it doesn't spray, so it's more of a high wear. They're probably both high wear, to be honest, but I did use that for the steering wheel, but I'll probably use this stuff. It's just a lot easier to work with. I haven't gone through too much of it yet, but this is supposed to last me quite a bit, and pretty surprised actually how quickly I'm going through that. I'm more than halfway through, and I'm more than halfway done, but we'll see how I make out with that. Anyway, ready to do this. Here we go. Alright, we're gonna dye some vinyl and some leather. Basically it's the same process. Wash the stuff with soapy water, leather cleaner, isopropyl alcohol again, because they're accent colors. We're gonna do those in this color here. If you can see, this actually has two different colors in it. What they do is they dye it the lighter color, and then they dab in the darker color. Alright, so I've mounted the leather on this box right here, just so that it has somewhere to stay and it's not laying in its own dye. It just lets me rotate this and paint this a lot easier. Okay, we got this fairly well covered. So this is a very thin layer. Coverage is not that important in the first coat. What's more important is not having any streaks, because those will show up. Use a sponge brush, get rid of any bubbles, because those will start forming. We got the base coat on, but these are kind of looking a little different, so I think I'm gonna give this guy another pass. Alright, that's a lot better. And now we're ready for the red dye, the accent color.
Put some boom mat in the door and listen to what it sounds like before. Roll the window up, put a little bit of boom mat in there, see if it makes a difference. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna polish up the trim, and it looks pretty good, but it can be better, although it's not perfect. It's got a few little dings and dents in here, so we're gonna take some time and knock the dents out, file it, sand it, and then buff it, and then pop it back on again. We've got a full video on how to do that on our 48 Fleetmaster build, so you can check that out. I took a couple clips and just pop riveted it to this piece of aluminum. That'll hold this nice and steady, and then I can hit it with my buffer wheel. I only have one good blade left, a little bit of white chalk, round, whatever works, and to polish it up, and we'll take it to the next level. And again, this is not perfect. If I could, I'd buy a new trim for it, but I haven't been able to find any yet. The truck itself is not perfect anyway, but we're gonna do our best to knock the dents out and polish it up. So here we go. Okay, that's not bad, that's not bad. Whoa! So this is the one that got hit by the tree at some point. But good thing is that steel has a memory, and you just gotta remind it of the original shape that it was and tell it to go back there. So with a brass punch on a flat piece of steel, we'll try to knock this out. It sucks because it is the corner. Like if it was just a dent in one side, that's not bad. This is gonna be kind of difficult, but I'll do my best and punch that out. If not, we'll see if we can find another one somewhere at some point. But for now, we'll straighten this and pop it on. Here we go. That's a little bit of an improvement. That turned out really nice. So, pop that on the back. It's not perfect. A little dip right here. I think I can turn it around and get it closer to the tire because it actually fell beside the tire. So if I turn it around and put the dip closer to the tire, I think the small imperfection gets covered by the tire. There we go. Okay, so as good as that looks, I am sick of polishing trim. I got a few pieces to go, but I want to change it up a bit. And get it's hard getting motivated just sanding crap. So we're gonna clean these fender covers. I hit it with some card cutter. Just gonna clean it, wipe it down, and then hit it with a white new and make it look nice and shiny. So here we go.
Okay, we got one of our visors here. Got a small little crack in it, so we're gonna fix that. First thing I did was just actually spray some adhesion promoter on this. Whatever you spray becomes a giant sticker, so pushed in the piece that was sticking up. So hopefully that just holds. And then we'll just blend it in with the vinyl and leather repair kit. We'll let that dry for 4 hours, then we'll be ready for the color compound. It's been a little more than 4 hours, so we're ready to cover that up. The Permatex kit came with a bunch of different colors of filler. We do have the OEM color anyways, so we're not going to bother trying to mix anything. So we're just going to use the white. It does come with a bunch of texture papers. You get a stamper. I think that one's pretty close to what we've got going on. You throw on the compound and then you just dab it around. Pretty straightforward. And here's the finished result. Pretty good. You can spend as much time as you want on this. It's better than a tear anyway. I'm pretty happy with that.
I thought I was smart. I thought I took all the bolts, put them in a bag, and taped it to it. I don't see that bag. It's probably under the snow.
Probably under the snow, yeah.
Probably.
See, I see how it is. I gotta go backwards.
That's okay. Maybe I was wrong. We'll probably find a little baggie. And you got your shoes soaked for nothing. You know as much as to what goes where as I do right now. I'm not sure where these came off of. Yeah,
Definitely not
that.
Definitely not universal.
No.
Those are seats. We got new stainless screws. Someone on the internet's gonna be like, "That's not an 8mm. You're using the wrong wrench." And I'll be like, "I didn't know what I was doing."
We're gonna make everything Robertson. You're gonna upset so many people.
You just warmed my soul. It's on.
It's on?
It's on there. How does the seatbelt also get backwards? I'm genuinely confused. That one was fine. Put myself through this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I can give you a hand. Give me all the tough jobs.
You gotta take this contraption off, and then the rails go directly on it.
Okay.
Now I completely understand why. Like the whole grill had like 2 bolts in it. It's not as bad.
No, it's better for sure. Nice.
It's not a race, but it's a race, isn't it?
Did you see how I didn't say anything? I won.
Is that straight and level? So this is the shifter cover, one for 4-wheel drive, one because it was a manual. We're going to automatic. And again, people saying I should stick with manual, but the reason we're going automatic so that it's friendly for our wives to drive. Transport truck, tank, Audi, Silverado are all manual. Mustang.
55.
Oh, the 55 is manual, so that's enough. But just to keep you guys happy, instead of welding it, I'm gonna just cover them up and paint it. Put the sound deadening on the top. In case somebody wants to go back to original, get rid of the 540 horse Coyote and put the 160 horse 302 back in it. It's not gonna be me though. Yeah, here.
Oh,
Can you,
I'm good.
oh, can you silicone the top of the transmission tunnel? I got this.
Oh, you?
Yeah, I can handle this.
Okay.
I'm bleeding a lot. Wow.
Yeah. What do you got going on there? Thank you. Yeah.
Don't get any on my carpet.
You actually? Yeah.
Those ones are all big giant holes that got stripped.
Alright, I left these soaking in vinegar overnight after scrubbing them with some WD-40. I figured this might be a better chance at removing all that rust, especially inside. Cigarettes are not kind to metal. Anyway, this is the next morning. Holy crap, I didn't expect that. This is just one night soaking in vinegar. I think all that's just gonna rub off. That's what it looks like straight out of the vinegar. And this is after scrubbing it down with a wire brush and then going over with some acetone. Quite a bit of the rust inside. And I just think some of that just is rust. Alright, what we got here, I've cleaned them both off. I've taped it down and I just pried the case away from it so I can get a full coverage. And we're going to start with a gray primer on this. Well, I don't want to repaint the chrome. I don't think that's necessary at all. It looks great. I've also got this cargo light. It looks like all it was just a plastic piece and it was spray painted. I've got this Rust-Oleum metallic, so we'll go with that. Let this dry for a while. I got these genuine Bronco horse emblems, and these are supposed to be mounted with studs. So I just cut those studs off, and I'm going to turn this into a stick-on deal. I've got JB-Weld Steelstik, and we're going to try that out. I do like this just because it turns it into a putty and it's easy to just kind of move around and make it do what you want. Like, it is messy, but it's not super sticky. It's got all these webbings in here. I just want to fill in the backing. So let's see how that works. After about 5 minutes, this is going to start to dry, and you can actually just wet it down with some water, and that'll just keep it pliable, and it actually removes some of that stickiness, so it becomes even easier to work with. And we're just going to let that dry for, well, I'm going to leave it overnight because it's quite thick on there. Okay, these are rock solid now. And now we're just going to apply our adhesive, which I have here. This is Scotch mounting tape. It's very sticky. Throw that on there and cut it to size.
I'll stand here and do nothing. You go to the other side.
I'll stand here and do nothing. Yeah, sorry, I just...
And then before we do anything, tuck it up underneath as best as we can.
Assuming it goes underneath the seatbelt.
Big shout out to NOS Reproductions. They supplied the carpet for the Bronco and the C10, and I can say both of them fit really, really well. Really happy with it. They also got the floor mats, so we might embroider the logo for Juice Box on there yet. We're not sure, but just looking sweet. I think both of us need to go in here.
Think so? Honestly. You just wanted me to sit beside you?
I do.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Which way are you going? Forward?
Go back. Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think you really got to pull on that thing.
There you go. Okay, so that's all the way back. And I think if I put like a little strip there to hold the carpet down, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
We could go a hair back though with the carpet.
Sure. Give it a tug. Right? That's proper. That's how you do that.
Lift your feet and give it a tug?
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds dirty. I think that's it.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, Toledo.
Yeah, that's plenty. You can like...
Yeah,
Nice.
It's got the perfect.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Yeah, like it's perfect for adults. I don't know about the kids.
That's what the little armrests are for.
Yeah, they're lower.
Oh yeah, yeah.
See?
Yeah, that's too low for us. Maybe it is a good height. Hey, Zach, I found the bag of bolts. It was nice and dry inside. Look, they're all here, clean, not covered in snow or salt. I swore I taped them to the roll bar, but
You owe me a new pair of socks.
okay. Up. Up. Okay. Wait.
Terrible situation. I mean, at least I sacrificed my body. Just put that on record. I didn't
cover it up.
I didn't do that.
That gets covered up. There's a whole panel there. I don't understand. I mean, we're not racing, but
I just win. I'll give you that. I'll give you that win.
Yeah, I don't think I want the seats up much higher because that's about
They're level, yeah.
They're level with the front, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's staying put. I'm bolting it right there because when you look at the back, it goes like straight across.
They're even.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's extremely sharp. So if you start to bleed, please keep a little blood.
Just wick it away from the...
Yeah, just no blood on the...
Maybe bleed on like the brown and not on the white.
Yeah.
It won't show up as much. Okay.
So I made up this template and just make sure that the top is perfectly square to the emblems, and then just cut everything out and literally just put it on here, tape it on, and you know exactly where to put your emblems. That way you can move it around, figure out where the best place to put it is or where it's supposed to go, and there you go.
So that's late afternoon on a Saturday. Zach's got a ways to go again.
Yeah.
So we're gonna finish it here, but it's not finished. I still gotta polish some more trim, and I'm not looking forward to that. But
Your hands have seen better days from polishing trim.
the sandpaper it's not a fun time.
All wrinkly from the water.
Yeah. You've been there.
I've been there.
Yeah,
I know the struggle. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got a channel?
I got a channel. You can follow me at Tukes and Tires. I'm on all the social medias, so definitely check me out. And yeah, we're always working on cool stuff.
Yeah, right on. And thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, Rich.
For the hand. And
Yeah.
I am heading your way to help you work on a project too.
On a project, we're working on a C1 Chevelle.
Nice.
So yeah,
Right
yeah.
on.
So you'll see him in one of my videos, hopefully. So
Guys, thanks for watching. Bronco's not done. Hopefully we met you at Motorama where you did get to see the finished product. If not, we're still working on it. SEMA ready, even though the engine's in there, transmission's in there, still got a lot of work to do to it. But I'm not gonna rush that wiring. I want it to look nice and neat and professional, and that's one thing that does take a long time. And when I rush stuff just to get it running or whatever, I hate undoing everything that I did. So we'll just plug away at it until it's finished. We got a little ways before spring yet, but yeah, get out there and work on it, make some friends. So much fun just hanging out and shooting the shit.
just having a great day working on old junk. So I mean, can't go wrong there. Sorry, everything I own is junk. Okay, this is beautiful. I gotta say that. And I'm not even a Ford guy.
I'm not a Ford guy, but yeah, it's pretty. Awesome, all right, man. All the best.
Thanks,
again.
Rich.
If you're not filthy, you're not rich. Get out there and work on it. Here we go.